All right, hello everyone on YouTube and Twitter. Hopefully. Let me know. If not, let's focus this time. I feel like last time I got, I got a message from my wife like midstream last time. But hey, I needed them on because last time we were doing, that SMS admin in the last live stream. So. Anyway, hopefully everyone can see me and hear me okay. The AirPods are always like, they're always hit or miss. Anyway, seems like it's all the dials are glowing correctly. So today what I want to do is I've actually been wanting to do this for a really long time, and I was kind of like, what do I want to stream about tomorrow? And then I realized I've been wanting to do this refactor for a really long time to the process facade. All these new side projects that I'm working on, I use the process facade, and it's great. I love it. But yeah, I'm still using the old direct Symfony in Shift. And again, I've said this a lot, but the thing to remember with the Shift code base is that I was thinking about this at Laracon with Taylor. Anyway, let's go full screen JMac. Deep thoughts by JMac here. I'll have some coffee. I was thinking about this at Laracon when Taylor was on stage and he was talking about Laravel and the evolution, and he was saying 14 years ago when he started stuff. Well, Shift is actually 10 years old. The code base is 10 years old, and when I first wrote Shift in Laravel 4.2. All these things didn't exist. Cashier, all these facades, the testing layer, all these modernizations that we've seen over the years, they weren't there. And so a lot of the stuff in the Shift code base is still, somewhat legacy because of that, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It totally works. But I think there are definitely some areas that you would look at now in modern Laravel and be like, why are you writing it that way? But again, 10 years ago, this was the way you wrote it. So anyway, just a little disclaimer before we start getting into the code. I love to take the opportunity to refactor, especially when it makes testing easier, and we'll see in the case of the facade that it definitely does. So let's get into it. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the process facade, basically it's a wrapper for, just much like Laravel, it's a wrapper for stuff inside of Symfony and other libraries within the PHP community to just make it so much smoother and easier to work with, right? Just really up that developer experience as Laravel does. So let's get in here and take a look. What we'll see here, let's go full screen. What we'll see here is basically Shift has the set of jobs. They get put on the queue. And these jobs underneath call what I like to call the Shift engine. The website, laravel-shift.com, it's really just it's just a store. It's just a storefront, really. It's just an e-commerce, effectively, right? That sells the shifts. You buy it. You manage them from the web interface. But the code base here, laravel-shift.com, this code base is a Laravel app. The underlying engine is not. The underlying engine is a PHP script that glues together a bunch of underlying things that run on a worker environment. So the point is the automation that's running when Shift is upgrading your application is not within this code base. What happens is this job gets put on the queue, and this job underneath creates the command, passes it the things that it needs through environment variables and so forth, and then ultimately calls a sub-process to run that in, right? And in an effort to test, I have wrapped this in my own facade long ago. Again, long ago. We could probably look up, annotate here. So again, earlier than this, I'm sure. Yeah, look at some of these earlier dates. 2018, 2022, this line was changed. I probably changed it 2 years ago to be a facade, but before that, it was still calling process. So the point here is that, again, this has evolved a little bit to make it more testable, but definitely not to use the new stuff. So if we jump down into the Shift process facade, what we'll see is it's effectively just a wrapper to allow me to test it. And to that point, let's go look at the test. So what we do is we call mail fake, we do some of these other things, right? But in here, you can actually see this shift process. I've had to kind of mock that out on my own in order to make it throw a runtime exception or make it mock the underlying process. You can see here that I'm actually like mocking the process, the Symfony process class. I'm setting successful and get exit codes to do the things that I want it to do. Very, very low level mocking. This is not what you would typically see in a Laravel application with its modern testing layer. You would see something much more like mail fake and then these mail assertions directly on that mail fake, not this low level, archaic mocking. Now, you can do this. This is common in PHP projects at large probably. But again, it just doesn't feel very Laravel. And if you go and look at the other jobs that do similar process commands in the system, or run sub commands through the process class, you won't even see that they're tested, again, because this is so cumbersome to test in this way. So let's rip it out. Let's rip it out. Enough build up. Let's rip all this crap out. All right, cool. I get the comments from YouTube. I don't get the comments from Twitter. I don't know if they feed through in this app or what. But anyway, hey everybody, Bernard, Tonko, what's going on? South Africa, cool, awesome. Okay, so if we need to mock logging. Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of nasty stuff going on here. So let's see if we can get this test brought back to life through refactoring to the facade. Now this may not be true refactoring because we're probably going to have to change both the test and the implementation a little bit to get it to do the things that we want. Now we have this skipped test. That's the one we were just looking at. So let's get rid of this skipped part and let's see if we filter test comment from Twitter. Oh, cool. Hey, I did get a test comment from Twitter. Awesome, cool. Bruce Wayne. Hey, Batman. Thanks for joining my live stream. Failed to open stream. No such socket, file, or directory. Okay. No, oh, sorry. No such file or directory. Okay. All right. So that was my original message on why that test was skipped. So if we looked at why it's skipped, it needs to mock logging. Why does it need to mock logging? Let's go take a look. So let's kind of understand what the code is here and how we can start swapping it out. So it needs to mock logging. Why does it need to mock logging? Var shift. That shouldn't actually run. What I could do, yeah, sorry, spoiler alert, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Cool. All right, so let's see here. Shift process, okay. I wonder which line is it actually mad about on this? So perform shift 87. So it's the disk. It's the disk where I'm actually attempting to push a file to S3 when it's done. So I wonder for now, I'm just trying to get this passing so I'm trying to get this green so we can focus on refactoring it to the new process log. So I'm wondering if I take out that so it runs again and I just say something like storage fake, and I think you can say which disk to fake. Yeah, so I think let's fake just S3. Let's see what happens now. Okay, we still get the same error because it's attempting to put that on the file system. When you fake the storage facade, it's still running. Can we change? I wonder if we can change this to spy. No, spy would actually have it still fake. Yeah. It actually creates a testing disk for the disk that you specify. So underneath my storage framework testing disks S3, it will now put those files there. So all the file IO is still happening. So because of that, this is a step in the right direction, but it's not actually going to solve the problem. So for the stream, let's comment this out let's take this off and let's see if this will pass. Okay, it does. Tail doesn't work, of course, because again, I'm trying to mess with this, but maybe there's a better way to do this with the process facade. So we're green. There's some file IO that's happening that's not pretty, which is why this test was being skipped anyway. So that's the whole goal of this, is the whole purpose to refactor. Again, this works. It clearly works. Hundreds of shifts are being run a day. This works. Like, I just want to feel better that it works. I want this test not to be skipped. And it's skipped because of these, crappy things, because it's touching a lot of different pieces of the system. So we're going to change this. Process fake. It's not that process anymore. Oh man, we got a lot of Batmans in this stream. All right, let's get rid of that process. And let's bring in the process facade. Where are you? Process facade, there you are. And then fake, I think, takes an array. Yeah, it takes an array of the processes to fake. So for now, I'm just gonna say PHP star. It's a little bit ugly, but let's just say PHP star process status. We're going to return 0. So we don't need to mock any of this before. So before I was mocking the very specific methods and making sure that the exit codes were doing what we want. Now we should be able to get rid of all of that. Okay. So we have process, or no, it's not process status. It's like process response result. Yes, process result. Output is, we'll just say exit. Well, we don't need anything. Process result, done. Don't need any of that. Okay, all right. Thanks a lot. Copilot sometimes is aggressive. You have to hit like 6 keys to make it not fill in what it's suggesting. Okay. Another little tidy up thing here I'm going to do here, another little modernization is, instead of calling new, let's use this chain to dispatch. I like that better. Okay, this isn't going to work. It's going to probably attempt to run the actual process and explode. Yes, that's what we expect. Okay, so failed with code 1. Yeah, it's not going to do what we want because it's no longer being mocked the way we want. Now, we've got a better test here. We've changed all of that inline mocking with mockery, deep level mocking with the process fake. And for now, I'm not going to fill in all the details that get passed to this. That's just kind of spell checky, easy stuff to do. Let's now go back. So I'm not going to fill in everything that gets sent across. We can do that. We can do that together. What we are going to do is let's get rid of this shift process and the other code that we were mocking and see if we can get this back to green. And if that happens relatively quickly, then we'll fill in more of these blanks. Or maybe we'll go back to the storage facade. You let me know in the comments what you'd rather see. So if we change this to process, all right, and we have run command, and I think env is now an option. So we would say env, yeah, env variables. Or wait, no, run is the last thing. Sorry, run has to be chained last. It's kind of like when you make a web request in your tests. It's got to be last. Or eloquent when you say get or whatever. It's got to be last. Okay, so we set up the env variables. This is actually a nuance. I learned this the really hard way several years ago. So let me share for a second. The subprocesses receive the environment variables from the parent process, in this case, the Laravel application. That means that the subprocess technically has access to all of your env variable secrets. Things like your, app key, maybe tokens to Stripe in this case. More importantly, in my case, the database. So if an underlying application on the worker actually had by chance an overlapping set of database calls or eloquent queries or tables or something they were attempting to do, they would actually end up reading from the Laravel shift application. Now, I don't have any like crazy data necessarily to read from, but I found that out the hard way because one of the tables actually got cleared out when their shift was running. So there, again, this was like 8 years ago, before I really understood some of these sub processes and the separation of the worker environments. It's when everything ran on the same environment. So this wouldn't be possible to do today, but keep that in mind. And the way to unset them is you basically have to go down and pass them in and or set them to false. So I want to make sure, and again, this is something I can add to the test because it's that important. I want to make sure that I'm passing env variables that turn off everything from this app and then add some of the additional secrets that are needed to run this shift, right? Such as like their composer auth that they might have entered or anything like that inside of the web. Cool. Okay, so this should run. Process now is just simply exit code. And now we can say something instead of this. We can say process failed. That should work. And then we'll change this to exit code as well. What else did we do with process? Anything? Yeah, we empty out composer auth. I don't think we do anything else with that. Yeah, okay, cool. I think, yeah, so all this tail stuff I'm doing, I think there's probably opportunity to, we see here on process, for example, there's output. Is output everything, or is output, trying to see if output's just output. There's output and then there's error output, and I forget if they separate the streams or what. I think they separate the streams. One of the things that I do in the shift, the log, it allows me to see some stuff, but I'm redirecting any kind of standard error output back to standard out, so I get it all in the log. I don't think the process facade offers a combination of the two in order. I could, of course, append them to each other, but that's not going to look right. So I'll have to look that up. But anyway, that's why I'm tailing and storing this log myself. Ideally, I would pass in this run command as like a set of variables so all the escaping was done for me. But, you know, that's why I don't do that. Anyway, I don't think we use process anywhere else. That's what I was really trying to see. Process, okay, so we got process exit code, failed, process exit code. Okay, we got everything we need. So this should be back to green. We're back to green. We got the same tail issue before because that file doesn't exist, but that's not a huge deal. And of course we could actually, we could fix this. We could actually, instead of calling exec, we could call process on that log file. It's probably what we would want to do, right? Why are we just randomly calling exec here? That's pretty old school, right? Let's fix that up too. So let's change this to process. We'll simply run, or well, of course, we need to remember our env stuff. Even though this is our own process, let's be good kids. We'll say this environment variables, or well, we actually don't need the same environment variables that I'll to-do this, but we basically need to pass in. I wish there was a way to just blank them all out. That would be ideal. I haven't found that. If someone knows that out there in the viewership space, please let me know. But I wish there was a way to do this and basically prevent the sub-process from passing any environment variables down. That would be cool. That might be a future PR if no one knows that exists. Anyway, let's use the process bit here, and we'll say, I think we're done with process now, so we can just reuse the variable. So we'll say process, and now we'll say process output. And this should get rid of tail. I think it'll still pass, maybe. Yes, and it gets rid of the tail message, but it's still passing, which is not super awesome. So let's go strengthen our test. So two things I want to do. Prevent stray processes first. I want to do that. And then we'll call fake, which is what we were doing. What were we? No, wait. Was it fake? What was it? Yeah, it was fake. Prevent stray processes. Sorry, that's the wrong. There we go. Prevents. Okay, so now we should get an error saying, oh, you called tail. Yes, we did. And you shouldn't have called tail. So again, I'll tidy this up and say tail dash F star. For now, we know what that order is. We just need to move these lines around. But we can change this to say process result, and we'll say what we're supposed to say. Created pull request. And here we'll simply just say dot this. Oh, my comments are in the way. Hold on a second. This faker URL. Cool. And then, or well, let's change this to, let's fire this off to a URL. That's fine, because then we can test it down here, right? So we'll assert same that order URL is pull request URL. Awesome. So we're already tightening this one up by using process, not only in the refactor, but where I wasn't using it before. So we can see here, much more improved test. Okay, still an issue here, var tail dash in without a matching fake. Maybe I just set the, oh, sorry, tail dash 1. Okay, so get the last line of the log file. Undefined variable output, okay. Oh, yeah, I don't think we finished refactoring that correctly. This is process output. Boom. Look at that, much tighter test, right? So we're using the process facade. Now let's actually go through this. Git add dash P. Okay, so we're using the process facade now, and we're converted a lot of our stuff. We need to bring that storage stuff back to life, but we've converted from our shift process to Laravel's process facade, and we're running the same command. All that's fine, so not a lot of lines changed there. Everything else was just a replacement for the name of the process facade instead of Symfony's underlying facade. And then we converted this nasty old school exec call to use process as well. And now we're taking the process output because this is going to go just to standard out. And we've increased our assertion in our test to not only ensure that we're calling it that way, but now we've added this line to make sure that the pull request got set. So again, much tighter for a successful run. Now I'm going to fill in this star because we need to kind of tweak those environment variables to that point. Let's see. I think even though you fake them up here, you can actually still make additional assertions on them here. So I can say something like, pretty sure, yeah, I can say assert ran. And I think I get a process here, right? And I think for now, we'll just say something like process dump, just to see what we get. So let's cancel that. Let's run this again. Too few arguments, process command. Oh wait, not that. Boop, boop. Let's try this. What do we actually get? Okay, here you go. We get fake handlers. So you get, I think you get 2 or just 1 recorded. Let's go look at the logs. What I want to do here is basically not only assert that, but we need to assert that the environment variables, because again, that's important. So let's finish up by kind of taking a look at that. So let's do asynchronous. Okay, yeah, testing. Oh. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you. Oh my goodness. Okay. Preventing stray requests, we got that. Faking specific processes, not sequence. Let's just see available assertions. Assert ran. Here we go. Process result. Process command is that. Process path, process done. Okay, so what we would want, I think, what do you actually get here? Process. You get facades process. What's the actual process, though, that you get? I think what we don't care about the result. I think what we would do is we would say something more along the lines of, let's for now, let's make this not an arrow function. And we'll say something like if process command, it's not a function, it seems like. I wish I knew what this object was that you get back in the closure. Can it tell me? Assert ran factory closure string callback process factory. assert ran. What do you get? Process command is equal to callback. If is string callback, oh, we wrap it up. Okay, no problem. Otherwise, you just call back collect filter. Collect recorded, filter them. Callback pair. Yeah, see, I wish I knew what pair was. What's in recorded? All of the recorded processes. Not helpful. Okay. Anyway, what I'm looking for, what I'm trying to do here is basically just say like, if str starts with, that's probably again not the best thing that I want to mess with, but if it starts with PHP, it's not the tail command. That's the one where I would want to check the env variables. So I would just want to do this here, dump process command. Let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, and I think, I don't want to dump out the envs, but we can do other, I want completion here. That's why I was trying to figure out what type of thing that was. Yeah, 60. Okay, cool. So the point here is now I could check some additional things to make sure that the env variables were sent across. So we could say something like, is array. Again, I don't want to dump out all the envs because they're probably not set up right now. I need to make sure to filter those, but this is where I can drive out that filtering. So we should see true here or something, I would expect. Nope, env is not a real thing. Yeah, so that's why I want to figure out what this is, because env is not, is it like environment, pending process, fake process result? It's a pending process. Okay, let's see here. Pending process, environment array. There we go. Is this it? Yeah, it's true. So yeah, environment's what gets sent across. So I think here is where I would probably do some stuff to make sure that all the things I care about, all the important stuff set to false, the composer auth token is passed across, all that kind of stuff. So again, because that stuff is potentially a little bit sensitive and I don't want to output something random to the screen, I think I'll leave that here. Our test is still passing. Or no, it's not. We're failing. Oh yeah, we need to return true here to make sure that it's still passing. We can get rid of the dump. We could simply just return this, to be honest. That's always going to be true for now. Yeah, so this is kind of the to-do, is that effectively, I want to make sure that that line that we added a minute ago, this env here, is not just blank. It actually, sends across the environment variables that potentially matter for this shift. So I can drive that out here and with an additional test. So let me check the comments and our time. We're right at 30 minutes. Perfect. 404 viewers. Awesome. Not found. Cool. Hey, Adrian, what's going on? All right. King, did you submit the mockery pull request yet, or are you still working on it? I'm still working on it. I had it all functional, and then I got really into the painstaking process of like refining the wording of the output. I would love if mockery had termwind or something that I could like really format it and make it look better, like some of this stuff. But I don't want to add additional dependencies, so it's all wording based is the point, and because of that, I'm being real nitpicky about the wording, because the whole point is to improve the DX. So the code's there. There were probably like 7 or 8 places that got updated. It's just a matter of really having the focus to sit down for like half a day and finalize it and then PR it. I'm hoping they like it, but it is a pretty broad change, and I could see them sitting on that PR for a long time. Unfortunately, there's no hooks for me to like, add a plugin or something, which would mean that I basically would have to fork mockery to get better messaging, which I don't really want to do that. So anyway, long story short is I'm still working on it. Anyway. All right, well, thanks everybody for joining live. I think we'll stop here. I'll fill in the blanks and get this all pushed up and maybe take a screenshot of my fancy new passing test, although they were passing to begin with. So, well, this one was skipped in fairness. So again, we improved shift by one awesome, but very, very critical test, right? This is making sure a shift runs and does the right thing. So super critical. Anyway, thanks everyone joining live. See you all next week.